wanted to tell you that I thank you for it.
I hope you're welcome. It was really fun making from our old friends.
Beautiful. Thank you. You too. Sorry about that. A neighbor just walked by that I thought it was the woman who made a sculpture that she had out on the street there was a street fair last weekend, and she put out a sculpture that she made that was made of beads, and it was just wood scraps, and it was whimsical and fun and beautiful, and so I wanted to make sure that she knew that I appreciated it and thanked her for it. I was going to give her a hug. I should have invited her in, but that can be a little daunting. Here are 3 cameras. Thanks everybody who is here. Oh man, look at these beautiful names. I didn't get a chance to look in the see. Oh, welcome everybody. If you get a chance to check out any videos or things by Flow Temple or Marvin Ong, these I mean, I call them kids. I mean, most of them are in their 20s, I think, but there's this. They practice constantly, and they. I really need to. You know what? All right. All right. That's it. I'm facing my fears. I'm gonna practice. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Here's my poi that Dimitri gave me. Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay, so that's 4 seconds. Just got to do this 6 hours a day. 1,000 hours of this, 10,000 hours of this. But see, that's the problem. I need to more just go, okay, let's feel it. Feel it. Feel it. Feel it. Feel it. Actually, Dimitri, my dear, dear friend, he would do this during meetings. Like high-end executive boardroom meetings as he's brainstorming and talking to investors and stuff, because he found that it kept him in this state of presence and allowed his mind to go to places and focus on things. So it was a really cool thing. People would walk into the office and see him walking around doing this. Not quite there yet, although I am still talking. Good thing I'm not chewing gum. Okay. Ta-da! Really, actually, as I was, I came back from that event going, all right, I'm going to start doing this more. I think I owe it to myself. Not to get too harsh on myself, I actually have been pretty dedicated to my yoga practice, going 3 or 4 times a week. Went this morning, went yesterday. Yeah, I think 3 or 4 times a week, which has been great for me. I'm trying to get an award. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm being present and just trying to... Now, there is this kind of goal focus out there because I want to feel better in my body. As I get older, I realize that maintenance is far more important. And I also like the way that it seems to be toning my body. But if I get too caught up in that as the reason why I'm doing it, the motivation is much more challenging than simply as a practice. I also like yoga a lot. I like to go to a class. There's a bunch of different, all different varieties of yoga, and people like to go to all different styles. And personally, I like classes where it's the same every time. I like a flow that is set. Some people hate that. They like to, to mix it up, mix it up, mix it up. I like it to be the same for the most part because I don't want to think about it. I like knowing what's coming next so that I can, every once in a while I close my eyes during periods of it, and then I can listen to the directions and try to feel the things closer rather than trying to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing. I find that if I'm always like, what is it doing? What is it? What is it? That what am I doing? That is a little bit more anxiety for me, and it doesn't give me that same kind of peace, presence. It's a meditation for me, much more so when I'm out of my head entirely and simply present in the practice. Oh my goodness, there's somebody here who's experiencing 12-12-12? Woohoo! Down under, that's right, it's tomorrow. I gotta keep taking advantage of that when we have people from the future that tune into Hug Nation. Yeah, 12-12-12, last triple date time thing of our lifetimes until they upload our consciousness to the grid, which could happen before 13-13-13. Don't know. Thank you, Jude. I'm glad you're here. Is there anybody... I don't recognize your name, Jude. Have you been here before? Anybody who's here for the first time, welcome! And if you're here for the many, many, many times, welcome. It is a gift to everyone else here and the planet to recalibrate. I really believe that our own paths towards our truth is not selfish work at all. Working on yourself, filing down the abrasive parts of your personality, figuring out what triggers you in relationships and in the world, figuring out what your talents are and then expressing them, sharing your gifts, that is the highest purpose you can have. Now, people that are stuck in a rut and like feeling like they need responsibility, they have this responsibility of doing this and this, not to say that they might not be tied to that responsibility. They might have, hungry kids or something. I get it. But it can be easy to like try to knock someone who is spending a lot of energy and time on their own journey and their own stuff. But from a big picture, planet consciousness, it is a gift to everyone. So if you're here, if you can hear my voice right now, and it's not followed by, get a load of this guy, well then, thank you. So speaking of finding your gifts, finding your talents, and sharing them with the world, I listened to a really cool clip from the Oprah show, or actually from an Oprah seminar, and it was a guy named Marcus Buckingham, who, he walked on stage and he was pretty slick. He was tanned and handsome and had an accent, and I immediately felt a little attracted to him, which is not normal for me with men, unless it's that Chris guy from the American Pie movies. Anyway, my point is, okay, so he was doing, he gave a big talk about, I guess he helps people to, his big thing is like finding what your talents are, finding your strengths, and charging with those. He gave an example. He was trying to like poll the audience, and he said, if your kid comes home with this grade report, what do you spend the most time with him on? He said he gets a C, an A, a B, and an F. And most people answered, what do you think? F. You got to spend time on the F. And he was like, no, no, no. We need to practice and spend our time to amplify our talents. And his case was that not only will that make you, does that why you're of value to any team is to do the thing that you're best at, but even as a kid, trying to understand why and how they excel in that A will actually educate and inform and teach you what is missing in the F. So you can bring up the F as you're bringing up the A. Which I think is a really, in a lot of ways, this business-oriented seminar was right in line with a lot of things that I talk about from a cocky bastard perspective of, pursuing your truth, pursuing your gifts can be the best thing for your business, for the teams, for, your boss. A lot of people feel like, you need to do whatever it takes and do the jobs that you're not suited for. In his case, his argument was like, if you're new at a job, yeah, do whatever it takes. But other than that, when you get to a place in a business where you're secure, you should be arguing to be spending your energy on the things that you are best suited for, and then you should be stretching and pushing and pushing and try to bring this true excellence and amazing results in whatever is your thing. Which is right along with, you know, the idea that we talk about here about, you know, finding your bliss and following your bliss. He was just kind of taking that in a business perspective. Maybe not even just business, but life. But I think it's easier to sell books when you talk about it from a business perspective. Bridie is sharing that his system with the grades is an A gets $10, a B gets $5, C is okay, D is a chore, and F is you ask a neighbor to do their chore. Oh, I see. You do a neighbor's chore. I thought it was like to try to get them over their shyness. You have to try to get a neighbor to do your chore, which would be a whole other type of learning experience. Hey, hi, I live next door. What would it take to get you to do the lawn, mow my lawn? All right. The question of the day on the Facebook page is, what do you practice and what has it taught you? So feel free to chime in there if you get a chance. What time are we at? Freestyle says that he could write a book on what parkour has taught you. You mean beyond just parkour, right? Exactly! Well, if you can maybe just sum a few up and put it on the question of the day, that would be fantastic. Or write a book, you know. Although, be careful what you put on Facebook nowadays, because I think we just had that vote on Facebook. Did everyone participate in that? Apparently, the vote was to see if we ever get a chance to vote again, and we needed like 300 million people to vote, and they only got 500,000, so it basically defaults to the new rules, which means that they don't have to ask us anymore. Truth be told, they don't have to ask us anything. The illusion that it's a democracy is signed away when you join Facebook, but they recognize the value in making us feel that way. Some might argue that the same logic is why we have free elections in the United States, but I'm not one of those Illuminati-based fringe conspiracy theorists. Okay. Prior to asking, did we ever have to vote before? I don't think so. They have had votes before, but this was a significant one because it was the new rules were going to say that they were kind of that they would no longer need to do these votes to make policy changes. All right, I'm going to try. If you get I see this people like Cliffy saying he practices photography and allows you to see the world differently. Nice. And you see the beauty and everything. That's a perfect example. If you think of it, copy paste it to the other one so I can record it when we do the recording of it tonight. That's a bummer that you didn't vote because you thought it was a scam. A lot of people thought that too. Well, we learned our lesson. The truth is, you know, even with the votes, they can still, you know, it's kind of like when people posted on their Facebook pages that the legal sounding jargon that said, I do not, you know, submit my content to be, which that's just not the way the law works. You can't state something and then use legal sounding words and it supersede an actual contract that you signed or an agreement that you did. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. Zen Master Womble said, I practice trying to get people to teach me something or tell me something that I do not know. And it has propelled me into a massive organization of amazing people. That's how I came across me. Or you. Sweet! I saw that the list on Hug Nation, there's a list of I can't remember what the title of the list is, but one of the things on the list of it was like how to be happier, how to interact with the world better, and one of the things was view every single person as if they have something to teach you. That's something I need to remember. Sometimes I get so into, ramble storytelling mode that I forget that there's a much to be learned by everyone if you ask the right questions. I was reading this book, I think it was this book, Firestarter Sessions, by Danielle Laporte, who's become someone just very recently that I've become a big fan of. And she said that one of the questions that she asks of people is when you're talking about what do you do for a living, and then she asks, how does it make you feel to be a blank, whatever it is they do? I think it's a great question. Desire Maps, are you doing that program? I haven't signed up for that. I got the Firestarter Sessions, and then I just got Danielle Laporte's Big Book Proposal program, which has all these, it kind of talks about the process of getting an agent, and I wish I would have got it 5 years ago, actually. And if anyone is thinking of getting it, talk to me first, because I'm an affiliate now. Because it's expensive. It's like $150. But, thinking professionally and thinking about professional advice and what it would cost to get this information, it's actually an investment. But, well, I sounded like a sales guy as I said that. But I believe that. I'm trying to, again, invest in myself, invest in things I believe in, and vote with my dollar. And one of the things that I wish that I would have known years ago was kind of how the book industry works, and that you don't write a book and then try to sell it. You get an agent and you make a book proposal and you have sample chapters, and then if you can get an agent, then you shop it around, and then you have a team, like with an editor and a whole bunch of people that are working with you to get this book to its ideal, perfect state. And as someone who sometimes struggles to kind of pull all the pieces together of the book, I was like, oh my gosh, if I had been spending some of this energy trying to find an agent and then get this process going, by this time I may have had a team. Maybe that's a bad way to look at it. This time around, I now have the ability to go and get a heading towards having a team to pull all these ideas and things pulled together in bringing their skills to a process that mine are not my strengths, to bring it back to that idea of, whatever your strength is, you should be charging on that. Sweet. Well, it's funny that you say that, Piety, because I was going to talk to you about a couple things after the broadcast, so stay tuned. If you don't know, Piety is actually in the studio every week, making sure everything is working and trying to keep the chat going and let me know when my fly's down and all sorts of important things. But you guys I didn't know there was a Desire Map affiliate program. Alright, well if I buy it, I'll make sure I get it to you. Leo says at Burning Man, as part of the playa naming technique, he asks people, what are you good at? Instead of what they do. That's great. That's great. Oh right, the Google Hangout after the broadcast. I forgot about that. We'll probably have like a, oh yeah, I guess we should, that's a good question. Okay, thank you, Sachi. Okay, we'll try to do, we're going to try a hangout again, at least briefly. One other thing I wanted to share, or a couple things I want to share. One of them, it is Hanukkah! Now, my father's side of the family is Jewish. He was never bar mitzvahed, and I was not bar mitzvahed. And technically it passes on your mom's side of the family, so I am not Jewish in the eyes of the Lord or anti-Semites. But I have had some Jewish flow mojo run through my life because of relatives and things. So I'm Jewish enough that if somebody says anything anti-Semitic, I jump down their throats. But other than that, so I'm going to explain for you that are not familiar with Hanukkah. This is the Hanukkah is the lamest holiday reason ever. There was a lamp that should have run out of oil, and it didn't. It just kept burning. A miracle! Okay, granted I'm not a scholar, but it was kind of like the Jewish kids were going, quick, find something that we can celebrate at the same time of year. Oh, there was that lamp that did that thing that never burned out. Let's do that. So happy Hanukkah. Clearly Christmas, as it is celebrated in our culture, has nothing to do with Christianity or Jesus. Jesus was not born at this time. The giving of gifts is a bastardization of the wise men. If anything, this time of year, Christmas, the solstice, the celebration is really our opportunity to allow the pagan, the natural world process of solstice, of the days getting longer, of birthing of light. And the symbolic importance of that, whether it is in the Christ consciousness or budding seeds or whatever it is that resonates with your traditions and your past and your history, this is the time of year of celebrating that birthing of light into the world and the Christ consciousness in us, I think. If you are celebrating traditional Christmas and do have a bunch of Christmas gifts to buy, what a bummer that we actually have gifts that we have to buy, which makes them hard to feel like they're gifts. They are responsibilities. But if you're in that boat and you have things to buy and you're kind of overwhelmed, I put up a list on Life Student that is a bunch of links to people that I know either in person or online that are making crafts or have music, all sorts of just things that people are making that would be great gifts. There are a bunch of, I've seen these kind of graphics people posting that, hey, instead of just shoveling your money into a big chain store for a product that's made in China, why not try to put money in the hands of neighbors and artisans and craftspeople to put money in their hands so that they can feed their families and participate more, and so I think that that can be a hard thing, because especially if you have people that, oh, I want this for Christmas, but if you just need to get a gift for someone, why not get them something that has been touched by an artist, even in the buying of it, you are voting with what you think is important in the world, not just passively being a part of the system. Now, I'll be honest, I'm buying some things that are, I bought, I don't think my nephews watch the show, I'm buying some Lego things for them. Actually, you know what I'm buying? I bought them a big box of, there's like a big like tub of like girl Legos. They don't say that, but it's got a bunch of pinks and purples in it. And so I'm like, I'm buying them those. I'm going to flesh out their macho boy Lego set with a bunch of pink. So I got them that and a couple other things. But I bought those. I'm sure that the process of buying that was not I'm not saying the Lego Corporation is something I want to endorse. They just make a product that I want to give to my nephews. But for some other things, I'm trying to, I just bought my nephews a goat from heifer.org, which is another way you can vote with your dollars. You're getting gifts. Heifer.org puts livestock and other all sorts of cool things that could help a impoverished community and family to, like, this is a milk producing goat, and so a family will get a goat. I'm also giving my nephews, this is also not a local thing, so I'm not sure why this is, but I'm buying them some bulbs with some big flowers. I'm going to try to get them, so they can kind of watch these. Have you ever put in like an amaryllis or paper whites or cool bulbs that you can grow indoors. You don't have to do much. They just like shoot up and bloom, and it really gives you this. I mean, you can watch it grow day by day, which I think would be a cool thing for the kids to witness. I don't know if it'll work or not, or if they will care at all. But to be honest, they don't need any more toys. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy how much they have, and I don't feel much joy in getting them another whatever they have already. So I'm not going to be the uncle that spoils them. Not in that way, at least. Sachi, who's in chat room, is listed on that page. You can see some of her cool flower hair. I don't know what you would call them. They're very cool, and all sorts of cool things. So please, if you get a chance, go to lifestudent.com. On my blog, put the link in the chat room if it's still available. And it's a great way to just add one more level of goodness to an experience of giving and sharing and all that. And I also listed on there the First Saturday's gift certificates. So if it's also a cool last minute thing. If you're like, oh my gosh, I need something for somebody, or you can just print it out. And I just trust you that every certificate says it's worth a care pack, which is like $3. So every one that you print out, it will be a care pack that is given to a homeless person that includes a clean pair of socks, a snack, soap, razor, a bunch of things that someone who is, certainly a gift to somebody who has very little. And then you can say on your behalf, care pack was given. You can print out a bunch of them and just make sure that, to stay in integrity, that whatever amount you print out, you give that dollar amount and donate it to First Saturdays. We're going to try to do a more Christmas-focused broadcast next week. I'll talk a little bit about Eggnography, which is the site where I keep track of all the weird, silly gifts that my family gives to Santa. And how do you donate to First Saturdays? Great question. If you go to firstsaturdays.org with the number 1ST, firstsaturdays.org, there is a donate button in the upper left. Or if you go to our Facebook page, it has the PayPal address if you want to go directly and just go through PayPal. I think it's donate@firstsaturdays.org is the PayPal, but you might as well either go through our page or Facebook page to make sure it's accurate. Is there any questions or concerns or thoughts? This today has been a wonderful practice of sorts. We'll be back online 6 o'clock tonight for happy hour, and we'll talk about the question of the day, which there's still time to answer, which is, what do you practice and what has it taught you? Kind of like that question. It can go in any direction. And then, so we're going to try to do this. We're going to try to, I should have planned this in advance. In fact, we're going to try to do it now. So if you don't want to, we'll call this the closing of the Ustream Hug Nation gathering. We're going to try to transition to a Google Hangout. So I'm going to try to set up a Hangout right now. So if you got to go, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking a little bit of time to recalibrate yourself. As I said, it is a gift to all of us, and hopefully all those around you. Jacob Glass uses the metaphor of the airplane. If the airplane gets a sudden drop in oxygen or pressure, the oxygen mask will fall. Do yours first, then take care of everybody else. So as we work on our peace, as we work on our forgiveness, as we work on our suffering thoughts, and open our hearts more and more to love, we become the tools, the vessels, the agents of love in the world. But if we don't put our mask on first, then we're in no position. In fact, our actions are actually infused with whatever we still need to work on. It can be tempting to try to want to feel like, oh, I'm lacking, therefore I need to do this out in the world. And I remember when I was studying psychology, they said most people get into psychology because they're broken. And that's why most psychology graduate programs have therapy as part of the program. You have to go to therapy and, you know, work on your own shit. And as human beings, we need to do that too. So, thank you. Thank you. All right, we're going to try this. Let's see. I'm going to try to do. Okay, to do this though, you have to have a Google Plus account. I think that's what we discovered. The on-air way, if we do it on air, it can work, but I think when we did it last